How to create your desired reality. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how to get crystal clear on what it is you're meant to be doing here, your purpose, and exactly how to fulfill it in a very short period of time. I'm making this video because I have spent so much time getting distracted, and I've done so many different things, and what I've found the common experience was in those states of distraction is I never really tapped into my full potential. I never really did them as well as I could have done them because I was not giving my entire attention to them. And so if you're someone who gets distracted by shiny objects, if you find yourself, starting a project, maybe it's a business, and then failing at it again and again in a repeated way, it's because you're not connected to your purpose, your true reason for being here. And I'm going to share with you how to tap into that, how to know what that is, and then how to bring it into your reality very, very quickly using the principles of manifestation. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get clear on your vision. Now, a lot of people get very scared when they see this because they say, well, I've already thought about that so much. I've already meditated on what is my vision? What do I want to create? But the problem is most of the time you've done this from a limited place. You've done this from a perspective where you're like, oh, based on my idea of how reality works, which is kind of limited, based on my belief system about what's possible for me, I'm going to create a vision that sort of fits with that. The problem with that is you're never going to connect with your true vision because God or spirit or your soul has put a desire inside of you, which is always going to seem out of reach. This is the point. It's always going to seem just beyond your grasp. And you might think, well, that sucks. Why would God give me something that I want to do, which is impossible for me? Great question. The reason is you have been put on this earth to grow. You've been put here so that you can break out of your past limitations, break out of your idea of who you are, and expand into who you really are, which is everything. You are God. You are the creator. That's the point of being in this classroom called Earth. It's to realize you are the creator. And so that's why your true vision is going to be much, much bigger than what you think you're capable of. And it's going to scare you, and you're going to avoid it, and you're going to try to go for smaller visions, smaller, shiny objects, because you're trying to do everything you can to go around this big vision because it's so confronting. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get imaginative, right? We're going to tap into the power of imagination, and we're going to ask this question. If I could with a D, not a B, be anything. If I could be anything, what would I be? This is the kind of question that a kid asks themselves. If I could be anything at all, what would I be? And as you let go of these ideas about what you should be or what you can be, and you just ask this more open-ended question, if I could be anything, what would I be? It's going to start stimulating these ideas. It's going to start tapping into your true purpose, your true vision, which is buried under all those layers of programming. Okay. And chances are this is going to be quite scary and quite confronting for you. But that's the whole point. The whole point is you're going to know when you're starting to get some real answers by the fact that the answers that come up are going to start to scare you. So once that starts to emerge, okay, this true vision of what you could be, you're going to follow this, right? And you're going to start to write it down. You're going to come up with a detailed description, which I call your masterpiece vision. And that's going to be a clear statement of what you truly want to be, your true purpose, your true vision. All right? So once you've got that written down, your masterpiece vision, then you've got a clear blueprint, you've got a clear strategy, a clear plan as to how to create your desired reality. That's the first step. You need to have clarity on what your desired reality is. So what would you be doing? Where would you be living? If you could live anywhere, if you could do anything, where would you be? What would you be doing? How would you be doing it? And you're just listing down all these ideas, right? That is step one, is to create your masterpiece vision. Now, step two is to be the character from your vision, right? Be the character. And what this means is you assume the identity of the person from your masterpiece vision. And this requires that you begin to surrender. You begin to let go of your current identity so that you can take on this new one. And you want to really pay attention to this, because what I'm explaining to you right now is the fundamental recipe for all change. All true change comes from this assuming the new identity. Now, what most people do to try and achieve a goal is they go out and they do action. They take action. They work at their goal. But underneath all that action taking is still the old identity. And what you're going to realize as you continue on this path of creating your desired reality is that you need to step into the new identity and be it now, so that the external, which is just a product, which is just a symptom of your identity, of the way you see yourself, will begin to self-assemble into a mirror image of your identity, of the way that you're seeing yourself. So what would that look like? Let's say that your masterpiece vision is to be a spiritual teacher, or it's to be a successful entrepreneur, or it's to be a famous artist or a speaker, or it's to have a online business which allows you to travel the world and have lots of adventures. So whatever that is, you take that character and you start assuming that you are that person right now. And anything that doesn't align with what that person would do, you begin to cut it from your life, right? And what's going to happen next is you're going to get tested. So step 3 is to pass the universe's test. Pass the universe's test, because with any change, there first needs to be a vision, right? First needs to be a clear idea of what you want. Second, there needs to be an assumption that you are it. You need to be it now. And then third is a testing process to see if this is real for you, if you really are ready to be this person. And what that testing looks like is 2 things. The first thing is you're going to get given easy ways out of this. So if you've assumed that you are now a, let's say, successful entrepreneur, but you start getting offered all of these positions as an employee, right? All these people suddenly start reaching out to you and saying, oh, I want you to come work for me, and I want you to work full time, and we're going to pay you XYZ money. It's going to be great. Like, there's so many perks. You're going to get, holidays. You're going to get sick pay. You're going to get to come to all of our events at work and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And they're like, we're going to pay you $200K. We're going to pay you $300,000, right? And so the universe is handing you this carrot on a stick to see if you are really going to assume this new identity, or if you're going to take the easy way out. And this is going to happen again and again and again. And for most people, they fall prey to these tests straight away because they think it's just the easy thing to do. They think it makes logical sense, right? Because they're not connecting to their vision. They're not connecting to this new character. They're just like, oh, what makes sense to me now? What's easy now? And they go for this. And all of a sudden, they're in the identity of an employee, or they're in the identity of someone who isn't living their dream. And this is so common. It's such a sneaky way that the universe tests you, gives you these little rewards, gives you these little incentives to see, are you going to assume the new identity, or are you going to take the easy way out? This is kind of like the idea of selling your soul to the devil, right? We hear that a lot in Hollywood, in the corporate world. It's like, I sold my soul to the devil. That's what this is. It's neglecting your true vision, disconnecting from that and saying, I'm going to chase this shiny object because it's here right now. And what happens? What ends up happening with these shiny objects is they keep moving. So another shiny object appears, another one appears, and they're never satisfying. That's the thing. You get the shiny object for 5, 10, 15 minutes, 2 days, 2 months, couple of years, and it's okay. But in your soul, because you're not actually stretching past the boundaries of your limited self, you're not actually stepping into who you're meant to be. You're not satisfied, and you start to die inside. And then another shiny object comes along, and then another one comes along, and you're always like, what am I meant to be doing? You're disoriented. Where am I meant to be going? Because you're not grounded in your vision. So that's the first way that the universe will test you. It will give you these little rewards to go off the path. The second way that the universe tests you is a little bit less comfortable than the shiny object syndrome. It's actually doubt. The universe will test you by throwing doubt in your path. For example, it will send people who criticize you. It will send people who say, are you sure you should be doing that? That doesn't seem very smart. Like, I'm not sure if that's the best thing for you to do. And what this is actually doing is it's just a reflection of your own inner doubts projected out as other people. Especially when you go around telling people about your vision. This is why it's good to just keep your mouth shut. Once you know this vision that God has given you, that your soul has given you, it's best to just keep that to yourself, because the more you speak it to other people, the more they'll come back to you as a representation of your own doubt. Everyone is you pushed out, and they will say things like, I don't know if that's a cool idea. I don't know if that's smart. And so these doubts will come back to you. These doubts will also come from within you. And it's this constant process of the universe being like, hey, are you really going to believe that this vision can be true for you? Are you really going to believe that this new identity that you're talking about is you? Because, your external circumstances don't reflect this right now. You don't look like a successful entrepreneur. You don't look like a spiritual teacher. You don't look like a famous artist, or whatever it is that your vision is. And it's this constant process where The external circumstances are reflecting doubt back to you around your purpose, around your vision. And what makes you a god? What actually makes you break out of this small, limited identity is when you can say, you know what? I'm ignoring that doubt. Fuck that. This is who I am now, no matter what. No matter what. And the moment that that becomes so solid and tangible and real for you that it's more real than your external 3D reality. And this is, where people start to think that you're crazy. And that's where that quote that Steve Jobs said, where he says, here's to the crazy ones, the change makers, the ones who actually mold the world. They're crazy in the eyes of other people because they disagree with the consensus reality. They disagree that just because the physical world is a certain way, that it can't be different. That's what most people say is like, oh, the world is this certain way and it's just the way it is and it can't change. That's kind of like the normal way of seeing it. But once you embrace your new character and you say, this is me no matter what, this is my new reality. You start to live from the mental. You start to live from the spiritual, the metaphysical. You get beyond the physical. And now you are stepping into the creator frequency. But it's not going to be easy. You're going to get tested. You're going to get seduced by these shiny objects. You're going to get smashed with layer after layer of doubt. But guess what? This is just coming from your limited identity, your old identity, who you thought you were, who you were raised to believe you were. And that's not what your new identity is. This has to be focused on, it has to be practiced, and it has to become unconditional. Once this new identity becomes unconditional and no amount of testing or doubts can swerve you from this, it's guaranteed to manifest. This vision will manifest. It's a law of nature. This is the point at which your subconscious has been so impregnated, impressed, seeded with your new chosen reality that nothing can deter it. No amount of distractions, no amount of fancy offers from people, no amount of other people's doubts, criticisms, best intentions can swerve you from this. It has to become unconditional. So how do you make that so solid? This is a practice, and it's not something that everyone's willing to do. But if you practice it by assuming that you are already it, day after day, spending time sitting in the feeling of being this new person, of being the new identity, it's going to change your self-concept. It's going to take some time, days, weeks. After about a month of consistently practicing this, you're going to feel like a new person. After a couple of months, you're going to act totally different. Whereas before you might have acted with a lot of self-doubt, a lot of reservation. You might have seen yourself as a limited, shy, unintelligent, incapable, all these little labels that you used to put on yourself. As you practice this by sitting in the feeling every single day, it's going to change. You're going to start manifesting different character traits. You're going to start downloading new ideas that align with this vision. They're going to start to come to you as a result of the new way that you see yourself when you look in the mirror. This is changing your self-image, assuming a new identity. So start to practice this. Number one, by getting clear on your vision. If you want a resource on getting clear on your vision, I've created a meditation that will take you through a 20-minute process, a very powerful process that I've developed personally that allowed me to get crystal clear on this vision so that I could then start to list the character traits, the identity, all of the traits of the kind of person that I would have to be to live that vision. And then number 3 is you got to face those tests, and you've got to be rock solid in this new identity. You've got to let go of the shiny objects and be like, you know what? No, that takes me off my path. That is not in alignment with this identity. And you've got to overcome the doubt test and be like, you know what? What you're saying to me right now might make logical sense, but I'm not living from logic anymore. I'm not living from a limited identity. I'm now living from vision. This is where you tap into the power of your spirit, into the power of source, into the power of God. And this is where you become the creator. So start to practice this. I hope that really enlightened you. I hope that made things clear for you. If you want this exercise, click the link below and it's going to take you to my 20-minute process to get you crystal clear on your vision.